not just
You know
by
what,
now.
Dennis?
We got to start over.
We got to start over. Yeah, I didn't realize Zoom did a change where now you have to
Actively do that.
actively
All right.
ask to be recorded. Before they used to record it. Now you have to request it. So
All right.
let's start over. Real quickly, my name is Bob Friedenthal on LinkedIn. I'm found under Karen, Caryn, and Bob Friedenthal. Um, I am a military veteran as well, and this is what this is all about in the families of veterans. And if you need to reach me and you have any questions, or if you'd even like to have an interview done for yourself, reach out to me, 310-736-5787. That's a mobile number. And you can reach me at bob@mycity.com. So
All
over to
right.
you.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Bob, for taking the time to meet with me here and do this interview of me. My name is Dennis Schroeder, Sr. I am a 24-year Army veteran. I spent that time as a medical service corps officer, and I founded a nonprofit organization called the Price of Freedom Foundation about almost 6 years ago. And this organization is dedicated uh, researching, preserving, and telling the complete life stories of those who died while in military service to our nation. We want to uh, stop the the trajectory of what is happening, and that is that most veterans um, wind up with their stories being lost in the dustbin of history as not only they pass away, but as the people who knew them pass away. Those memories are gone forever. So what we want to do, we do research. We interview as many people as we can find that knew the fallen during the course of their lifetime. We piece the story together with all other pertinent details. We write a complete book about each person, and our vision and goal is to create video documentaries as well. So that is what drives me. You can find us online. Our website is www.priceoffreedomfoundation.org. My phone number, direct phone number, my personal cell phone is 253-861-8845. And you can reach me via email, probably a little bit easier one to capture is info at priceoffreedomfoundation.org. Because spelling of my last name is a little bit different from most, so it kind of throws a little bit of an error code in a lot of people's brains there. So
You are funny. But we're dealing with a very serious matter. One of the things I talk about, my daughter worked for the VA. She's got a doctorate in psychology many, many years ago. And she said it was so difficult. Why? Because the amount of suicides that are committed every day by veterans. And and it's not just the young people, it's the older people too. They go into retirement and the old expression, idle hands are the devil's workshop. Well, guess what? You were working for someone and all of a sudden you're not working for them and all the troubles of the past bubble up to the surface. So it's the older people that are also committing suicide in
that's another area that I have great concerns about, and I really want people to have a reason to be around today, tomorrow, the next day, and not take themselves out of the picture. That's a it's a tragedy, I guess is what I would say it is. I mean, having had personal experience with having that kind of ideation for much of my life, I understand how that works. This is not what we are focused on with our organization and what we're doing, but we do definitely support those organizations that do address this directly. Bob, I did want to also talk about the support you've given me. You've given me and this organization, oh, well, it's been more than a year. And one of the things that we do is we have a meeting every Friday on Zoom. We've changed the name a little bit. We're calling it Vet Talk. And what that purpose is to give veterans, living veterans, an opportunity and a platform to tell their story while they're still alive, so that somebody doesn't have to go and do a ton of research to say, what was Uncle Jim like? What did he experience while he was in the service, or Aunt Betty? Because clearly there's a lot of women who are veterans and who serve in our armed forces, and we want to give those people who have served our nation a message that their story is important. And it's more important than you think it is, because most of the veterans I talk to are like I was years ago, and that is, I didn't really do anything special. No, you did do something special. You took an oath, you put on the uniform, you made the promise that you would go in harm's way and give your life if needed. Well, you survived, and congratulations for that. We want to know your story. And I guarantee that there are people around you, people that are related to you, people who are your friends that want to hear that story too. And so please don't make them wait till after you pass and then try and pick up the pieces and bring them together. It's a very difficult process that we go through. It has taken years for us to tell these stories that we're working on currently. And honestly, we think this is a valuable and an important cause. And there is no other organization that I'm aware of that does this on a more or less global basis. There are individual families that have brought together and researched and told the stories of their loved one. But no one is doing this as a organization. The closest that we have is the Library of Congress, that asks you to tell your story and give it to them, and that's good. And exactly what they do with it, I'm not sure, but I know that they are going to do some probably very good things with it later on. But giving it back to you and sharing that with your family is not something that I'm aware that they're doing, nor anybody else is doing. So that's what we want to do. And quite frankly, if there are any philanthropists out there listening to this, if this aligns with what is on your heart, you can make a huge, huge, huge difference. Because right now, most everything is coming out of my own pocket, and it's very limited. So um, that's kind of where blow up of my heart and my and what's going on, and why I'm motivated and driven this way. So
I was just thinking, my wife is telling me I need to get more active in
mhm,
in groups. And
mhm.
I'm sitting there thinking, just now I'm realizing, okay, let's get the veterans group going. Let's get veterans talking. The biggest problem that veterans have is they sweep it under the carpet, but they're still depressed and they
Yeah,
don't talk about it and they don't know how to talk about it. Well, you know what? That's why we are running
it,
this veterans group, is to get people to
it
talk
is.
about it, tell their story. Just tell their story.
Tell the story and then talk. I mean, because I guarantee you, as a veteran, I went served 24 years and retired as a lieutenant colonel. And my transition out of the Army, first job I had was the best job I've ever had. But that company failed after about a year. And then it was disaster, because I couldn't find work for the life of me. And then everything that I thought about myself, it was a truly humbling experience. Now, for me personally, I'm thankful that God saw me through it and said, "Hey, Dennis, you have value besides what you wore as a uniform and the rank you had in your shoulder." But I know that's a tough thing for a lot of people to go through. It was a tough thing for me to go through. It was depressing and humbling at the same time. And I have a very different outlook on myself today than I did then. And it's not to say that you shouldn't value your service or have some level of pride about what you accomplished and achieved there, but you're more than that. And I know that. And there are so many transitions people go through in life, not just separation from the service, but we have transitions when we as parents when our children grow up and move on out. We now what? I saw myself. I loved being a dad. I loved being a dad, and now don't have any kids around the house. Who am I now?
Yep.
When we have maybe a divorce that happens, who am I? Now I'm not the husband anymore. And I'm maybe pictured myself even as the bad person, the guilty party in this. We have transitions when we have somebody close to us pass. These are all very critical times, and it gives us the opportunity, and many times it forces us to question ourselves and identify who am I? And I think that it's certainly something that we all face. I think that I know there are organizations and groups that help with that. And I know that my message to folks is that we're not trying to duplicate what others are doing. We recognize and value that. We support those that do these other things. But we acknowledge that you're going through some transitions yourself. So as a veteran, part of your story is how are you dealing with this? What's going on with you? Now that you're no longer wearing a uniform, how do you now look and see yourself and give yourself a reason to be around today and tomorrow and the next day and after that, so that we want you to be a part of our ongoing brotherhood or sisterhood, or I don't know what the right word is actually now that we have so many female veterans. And honestly, they don't get as much attention. And I honestly don't know if they're participating in veterans organizations or groups uh, like the men do. And that bothers me. I really want to see more women involved in that, because I have a daughter who's a veteran too, and it's like, yeah, I worry about her.
Well,
So,
my daughter worked for the VA.
mhm,
She could only it was in Redlands, California, and she says one of the toughest jobs she ever had
mhm.
because back then the VA thought like this.
Oh yeah.
And now, from what I'm understanding from other veterans, there's so much more that the VA is doing for the veterans. I've never gotten a call as a veteran, you know?
Oh,
Uh,
but
so
I mean, once you're in the system, though, I mean, because I just recently, I mean, I've had the VA card since I retired in 2000, but I never used it because I was able to use the military healthcare system because I was a retiree, and that's what I chose to because that's what I was part of, and so I identified with that. It's like, hey, I get to rub shoulders with the docs and nurses that I used to work with, type of thing, you know.
that
Uh,
makes me that
but
not to interrupt you, but that makes me think,
Mhm.
what do you think the majority of veterans do? They sweep their service under the carpet. That's the exact wrong thing to do because so many, I mean, there's lots of vets now that have been in war zones. Um, I'd assume that the VA is doing a much better job
I
than the
think they
majority.
are. I think they are. And the reason I say that and why I brought that other thing up is that it was just recently that you can't see it because they're really nice, but I got hearing aids. And I got hearing aids through the VA about 2 months ago. And so I had to engaged with the VA healthcare system. And I was pleasantly shocked because I was calling up to make an appointment with the audiologist, and I'm thinking back old style thinking, okay, I got to make the appointment. It's going to be 3 or 4 months down the line. No, they could have seen me the next day if I had been available. But anyway, they have been
That's
fabulous.
amazing. That
It
really
is.
is amazing, you
It
know?
really I'm very pleased with that, and to me, that's indicative of the great improvement in service that they have made to myself and to all veterans. So,
Well,
uh,
Dennis, I not to interrupt you again, but makes me think that we should probably do more of these interviews of you because there's different areas that we could talk about that will have an impact.
Okay.
So something we need to discuss.
I'd be very happy and honored to do that.
Me too. So let's end with this. Dennis, give us your contact information again.
Absolutely. My phone number directly to me, my personal cell phone is 253-861-8845. And the best email to reach me at would be info@priceoffreedomfoundation.org.
Beautiful, beautiful. And my name is Bob Friedenthal. I'm a LinkedIn consultant, so you can find me under Karen, Caryn, then space AND space uh, Friedenthal. Did I say Bob first? I think I did.
I think you said Karen and Bob. You forgot the Bob. Karen
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's okay.
I'll turn the switch off. Um, God, I love to laugh. So my name is Bob Friedenthal, Friedenthal. You can reach me at area code 310-736-5787. That's a mobile number. And Bob at mycity.com. I am loving doing these interviews. If any of you would like to have an interview, please, please don't hesitate calling me. I'm just in love with doing these interviews because, they say it takes 15 to 30 seconds for somebody to grasp who you are. They get an image and an understanding of who that individual is. But there's more to it. There's lots of things and things that we maneuver through like this interview that I think really lends itself to a great opportunity
I
for
appreciate
Dennis.
that. And yes, and yes, this is multifaceted, and you know, I guess I've always, since being a kid in high school, it's like, don't you, my parents would say, aren't you ever going to sit down and rest? I've always filled my calendar with stuff. No. And
There's
that
gray in our beards
today.
for a reason.
That's right.
I love it. I love the laugh. All right. Well, I'm going to be signing us off. And Dennis, like usual, it's great speaking to you. Thank you for allowing me to interview you. And we'll see what it looks like on the other side.
All right.
Talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.